That's a really nice like graphic. I never thought about serving up fresh dolphins on
I,
a sandwich.
is that Dijon mustard they got right there too? I don't, is that what pairs good with that? Is that Hawk wearing a hairnet too? The detail in this is astounding.
Oh yeah, up at home because the Seahawks are 3-0. Woohoo! Just for me, like it's really good that we're 3-0 out of the set of teams that are 3-0 today, but feels good.
I mean, we just got to take it like we've been saying. We just got to take it how it is. But I think our friends at Field Goals said it best. Seahawks are imperfectly perfect. We haven't been a well-oiled machine and all. Everything hasn't been firing on all cylinders at the same time at least. But you got to win the wins. You got to take those wins.
No, I'll take yeah, pretty much. I mean, like we as a team, right? I know we haven't faced. Some people wouldn't say we haven't faced an actual opponent yet, but they don't know that every week is a given week. If you got someone injured, the next man up, all that good stuff, and I will happily be 3-0 above all of our, especially in the NFC West and stuff like that. 3-0 at the top of the NFC West currently, with all the other teams being 1-2. We'll talk about that one later. It just feels really good just to have some wins under our belt. Unless like I still don't know if we're about to get the first half great, second half we are going downhill, but I'm just gonna enjoy this the winner's high while we're still there.
Yeah, we have to, man. Like we've been saying, like our target was 10 wins. Like, you don't get that by dropping some easy ones. You got to win the easy ones and the hard ones. It's the NFL. There's no gimme. I mean, we just saw the Broncos clap the Buccaneers like crazy. Another team that we were probably expecting to go undefeated. But yeah, we have to. I mean, let's bring this up. This summarizes our day really well. There's definitely good stuff. There's definitely bad stuff. But Seahawks are 3-0 first and foremost. Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle got blanketed by Woolen and Spoon. I think there's a graphic. They have a graphic of Tariq Woolen and Witherspoon on Tyreek Hill. I think there it is.
uh Beautiful.
Mike McDonald gave Mike McDaniel the hammer again, going back to the Mike McDonald's days on the Ravens. 205 yards allowed on defense, 0 touchdowns allowed. DK 100-yard touchdown game again and touchdown game again. And Derek Hall and Boye Mafe had 3 sacks, 6 QB hits combined. I mean, you gotta take it, right? Like that's a good showing.
Oh, and then like more context, like Derek Hall, literally his first sack of his whole career came in this game, and he had two of them.
I think I got it right here.
Yeah, I had to give a shout out to him on that one, only because his first year nothing happened.
Mm-hmm.
It's the fact he was stamping his foot, man. I promise you, the 12s, man, we can
Just
make a
look at
stadium
like
loud.
he,
Boom.
he just smacked him. Dude, Skylar Thompson was abused today, bro.
Oh yeah, and then he had that chest injury, and then they had Boyle out there, which I think the last time we faced Boyle was when he was, I think, on the Lions, and we won that game too, if I remember correct, or it was
That
another
was like the
team.
night or like early 2000s, I think, right? Or was it
No,
how
it was
long?
2021. We faced him
Oh yeah,
with it was either
early
yeah
2000s was
Tim
like 20 years ago. If he was still out there, that'd be ridiculous.
right.
they're really they're going
I
for
forgot
bad
what
boys.
team. Yeah, I forgot what team Boyle was on. He was on, I think, either the Jets or somebody, and we beat him before. That's why I just saw that fact somewhere else. But man, yeah, the Dolphins, we had their number. Only held them to 3 points. It's really good. Great things going all around in terms of like how some folks on our defense did. Great things on the offense. I mean, hey, DK Metcalf over 100 yards and a touchdown. Which I mean, hey, you have to play this one,
All right, you got
please.
everybody. If you're a Seahawks fan, you know this voice.
Gino out of the shotgun. McIntosh in the game, and now he swings out
Oh,
to the
Judge
left
is
side.
back.
Gino steps up in the pocket, looks, holds, throws deep, got DK open, 30, 20, 15, 10,
And no one's catching him.
No one's catching him.
touchdown!
You know what's crazy is he did a double move on that play to get open too. It wasn't he didn't just run in a straight line, so he ran a route.
Yeah, the straight line stuff came after he did the double move, but I mean, every receiver knows how to run in a straight line. Oh, we hope.
Yeah, and so I mean, but let's be let's put a little level this out a little bit. We made that game a lot harder on ourselves than we really needed to, didn't we? Like,
Indeed.
was it Gino had 2 picks that game,
2 picks.
and we didn't
Two
have
picks.
we didn't have any turnovers, and this was one of those situations where if you're swatting, if you have the other quarterback running for their life, you kind of expect to get some form of error force, but errors came on our side, so we kind of had to overcome our own adversity, right?
Yeah, that was. I think yeah, that's the one thing, and a lot of people are gonna definitely point that out, even if especially if we have the spotlight on us, is pretty much the fact that mistakes were made. Shooting ourselves in the foot because even I think even like the announcers for the game were saying during the after the like right before the first half was over, they were just saying there were some points left on the board for the Seahawks. And I believed it. I think we left the half at 17-3, and I at least said like we could have at least, well, for myself personally, I said we could have at least had maybe a couple more, if 1 to 2 more touchdowns added on top of that. But because at this pace, what we're doing, I'm like the bad way to see things right now is we can't keep coming with these mistakes. We can't keep coming with like mistakes aplenty too, because like for penalties, both sides had 11. For us, we got it was like what 11 penalties for about 92 yards, almost a whole football field. That's going to stop any offense. And the fun now, like I said, the bad part is we're making so many mistakes. We're just imperfect, and like we should just pour some water on this hype train. But I'm still hyped for this team to this day, only because we may be a little messy to this day. um, especially that. Thank you, Kanal. Especially because think about we're still making all these mistakes. It's an ugly win, but we're still winning. I don't think we could have done this with the team that we had last year. In my opinion, if we came on across this game, we would have made any team would have came back, and I mean any team would have came back and scored, and we wouldn't have scored any more. Defense, I think a lot
You
of
have to have
like
character, man.
coverage breaks.
Like
Yeah.
I mean, the Patriots, they got smacked by the Jets, but they took us to overtime. You have to. I mean, you can be like, "Oh, we're not supposed to be here," but you gotta actually see it through. Either way, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't
Yeah.
matter if you're getting blown out or what. You still got to play all 60 minutes.
Yeah, I just love the core of this team with McDonald at the core. That's why I'm still hopeful. I'm still hyped, even whether we were 0-3 or 3-0, just because like we got something going with this team.
Yeah.
Because it makes you think we won this game. I think it was what 20-3 or 24-3.
Yeah.
Yeah, 24-3. Yeah, final score 24-3. I think it should have been even higher, but regardless, that's the point though. Like if we won with mistakes and all included, 24-3. I just have to picture if we had everyone back. One, we had injuries and people weren't out there, and Byron Murphy and
Big Cat Williams both got injured.
no, it was is that what they call Leonard?
Yeah, Leonard Williams.
Leonard, what they call him? Okay, so him and Williams both out after the first half, and we still held them down to 3 points, even with that
Not
with
just
that being
3 points.
said.
Those guys are known as run stuffers, but we held Devon Achan. I mean, granted, he's not a right up the gut type of runner. Typically, tries to hit that edge. But we held Devon Achan to 30 yards. If we were to pull up PFF grades for Seahawks, two of the guys that had a big part in that is Jonathan Hankins and Tyrell Dodson on our defense. Both those guys, I think they were locking that down. Tyrell Dodson actually got his, I think, first sack of the season. Did he have one earlier?
I think I'm double check. I feel like I don't think he did.
Okay, yeah, and so he had his first sack, and he was one, which was one among 6 today. Which, I mean, when was the last time we say that? And
right.
Then of course, you got guys like Noah Fant. Welcome to the show. Thank you for coming. Zach Charbonnet. Zach Charbonnet was not. He had 91 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. Those are solid numbers, and a lot of those came on that. A lot of those
One of those touchdowns I love was when he got like all the guys just started tackling him, and then he somehow slipped out of it, did a little shake, and
Yeah.
ran like the rest of the way into the end zone. Oh,
He's not a small guy. I mean, he might be. I don't know how tall he is, but he's a stocky dude. He's not like your K9, which can he can just like go whoop right through. And the fact that
right.
I think that the term that people like to use is he got skinny. The fact he can get skinny like that. Well, I think they usually, actually, to be fair, I think they usually use that when they're talking about the D line. But the fact that he can just like slide right through, it's good development that he's getting right now while K9 is hurt. When K9 comes back, watch out.
Oh yeah, for sure. And then I mean, I think this has been really good for him. I think on the season he's about like 141 carries, 3 touchdowns, which is not bad. Not a bad pace. Even with like what I think we kind of deemed him, he had like a little bit of a bad game. I think it was like week 1, I think, or was it week 2? It was week 1 against Denver. He only had like 12 yards rushing. I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
He's only been progressively getting better and better. He went from last week 14 carries, 38 yards to 1 touchdown. Now we're, like you said, 18 carries, 91 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Again, this is all I'm asking. Please just run the ball. Like, establish a run game alongside the pass, and I promise you things are gonna. If we pass all day, it's gonna still make the game long. If we can run the ball, though, even better. We can at least control our destiny, which we did.
Yeah, and I think this game actually just kind of showed again who you going to guard in the secondary. You got DK
Yeah.
Metcalf, Noah Fant has arrived, Jackson Smith and Jigba, and Tyler Lockett.
Oh man, Lockett as always. He may not have a lot of yards. I think it was like 60 to 80 yards of yards for him, but like most of his catches, they were always for a first down or something like
Yeah.
that, man.
Dude, I mean, even Jackson Smith and Jigba, he was only targeted 3 times this week after being targeted like I think 10 times last week, right?
Yeah.
It's really we really have gotten good at taking what defenses give us, and we weren't scared of the secondary this week around. But can I get something off my chest?
Go ahead, man. What's up?
Dude, I think this is like the worst offensive line play we've seen since like the bottom of like the Russ era. Like that's the only thing that makes me nervous, man. I think you mentioned it earlier. We had 11 penalties. I think at least 6 of them were on our offensive lines. And those are the drive killing type. And this is an example of, we're not even talking about giving up sacks or not opening up holes for your offensive players. We're talking about almost like not pre-snap penalties, like a holding isn't a pre-snap, but before you can even like let anything develop, you're shooting yourselves in the foot. And if that's happening to you 6 times, I mean, I think let me see if I got the numbers here. I think Anthony Bradford had 2, Connor Williams had 2, I think Charles Cross had 1, Laken Tomlinson, I think he had 2. So these are, it's hard. I mean, as much as we would love it as fans, we would love to see the big play every time, but we know the bread and butter of this. We talk about running the football. Running the football happens when you get those 4 or 5 chunks at a time. You're not getting 15, 20 yarders. The fact that offensive line is that, I don't know what the right word is. It can shoot the entire offense in the foot like that. I mean, that makes me nervous.
I won't agree on the fact that this is our worst line, because we had a bad line even with Russell Wilson. I'm trying to remember. I don't remember which particular season. That was when we had like a lot of injuries, and I don't even think we made the playoffs for like the first time as Seahawks then. I will put up there that we're making a whole bunch of mistakes on that offensive line. I will give you that, especially with Bradford. I know Tomlinson, he did a little bit better in this game compared to his past 2 games.
Ironically, Stone Forsythe might have been our best O lineman this week.
I know, right? Because like because I know Charles Cross gave up like a sack and stuff, and actually gave up pressure, which actually led to Geno Smith throwing his first interception and stuff like that. But I mean, here's the thing: it's going to happen, the interceptions and stuff. I don't want the stuff on the line to continue. I think as we get, like I said, something is still like I said, we're holding ourselves back, offensive line troubles or not, but like hopefully we can just iron these out. Especially, unfortunately, we have to start now, especially with the next game. being the Detroit Lions, right? So,
Yeah.
and that's like a team where it's like they have their QB this time. They got most of their players in there, and they got their 1-2 punch over there as well, which we'll talk about that in the preview. But we got to at least iron out some of these mistakes this week, in lieu of that game. At least they get an extra day. It's on a Monday, so you get a nice little extra game out and stuff, but or a nice little extra day to rest. But otherwise, yeah, no
Yeah,
mistakes.
the mistakes were killer, man. And I'm not gonna say so. There, I like to look at it two ways, right?
Hmm.
There is the individual, like how each of these players on the line is contributing individually, and a lot of those penalties and stuff like that, especially the false starts, especially the holdings,
Hmm.
those are individual things. Um, I and then you can look at it from the offensive line as a unit. Are they running scheme together? I think right now what we're seeing is individually they're making mistakes, and
Hmm.
if they're able to iron that out, then we can start looking at the biggest, the lesser or the greater of two evils right now is individual play. I mean, we were singing Charles Cross's praises, through the first 2 weeks. He was the best ranked offensive tackle up to that point.
Hmm.
And but one person doesn't make that line. You played O line, you know better than anybody. You got to be playing together well as a unit.
Hmm.
And so if they're able to iron out those individual mistakes, and we could start seeing like how they
Yeah.
perform as a unit, I think if we were to break it up in two parts, fix your own fuck ups, and then you can work on working together as a unit. I mean, you should be doing both at the same time, but I think when we see the first bit, we'll see the second bit come out. Because I mean, Scott Huff, he was a fantastic coordinator, offensive line coach,
Hmm.
for the Huskies. I mean, they put up yards, all sorts of yards on anybody, don't matter who you were. And then you do that by giving your offense that foundation. But that your offensive line unit has to rely on everybody at least doing their own job. So if they can work that out, I got hope. You know,
Yeah.
and we'll get some guys back. Hopefully Abe Lucas comes back. He and Charles Cross were both bookend tackles in their rookie years. Who would have thunk? But the the positions that do make me worried are both guard positions, and so that's something to definitely keep an eye on. Christian Haynes, I mean, he's on the bench. Like, at what point do you bring him in? I mean, Anthony Bradford has been pretty bad up to this point. Um,
In the league right now, no. I feel like the Bears could tell you something like that. Especially there was just a little clip of like them
I
trying to run some play on like the 1 yard line. And why is it that all the D linemen from from the Raiders and everyone else was coming after the QB, man? Like, or was it, no, excuse me, yeah, Colts, excuse me, pardon my French. Colts was coming. Look at this, like, just look at this, man. Like,
Here,
like that
let me
doesn't
pull
make
it
any
up here for him.
sense.
Let me pull it up here for him. Like, just look at that. Look at all these. It looks like they're out here doing a calendar shoot.
Yeah, I don't know what play calling this is, but that's Shane Waldron for you. He is over there. He's the offensive coordinator for the Bears as of right now.
Yeah, and
So
instead of running it up the gut, he ran like a speed option off the edge, and like
yeah, and it
this
did not
play
work out.
this play went for minus like 8 or 9 yards.
Yeah.
So yeah, keep that in mind. But yeah, I mean there are definitely worse offensive lines
We
out.
survived the Shane Waldron era, and that I have to give Gino his props for surviving that era with that offensive core. I thought we were actually, in line to do something with Shane Waldron, but apparently not.
Yeah, I've been a damper on that after letting that off my chest. But can we give the defense at least the props that they deserve?
Of course, give first off, give our secondary the props they deserve, because come on, we held them down to three. Like, we held them down to 3 points. In terms of like all, everything around like their passing yards and stuff, only 140 pass yards. Come on now, and
Yeah,
only 65 rushing yards. Like, thank you. We've been winning games where we're holding opponents down to below 100 yards rushing. I'll take that.
every day of the week. And
I look at that.
that was definitely, I don't know about you, but they were definitely my my winners of the week. Like the defense as a unit, it was in all three phases. Everybody was excelling really well along that D line. While we had them, they were I mean, giving up like what was the total net yards for the Dolphins? It was 65 total yards rushing for that team. Fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
The linebackers, fantastic in coverage. When you're working, you called it out last week. Look out for those tight ends, and that
Yeah.
comes down to a lot of linebacker play. And then of course the secondary with Spoon and Tariq played lights out, as well as Julian Love and
Very surprised with our secondary holding Hill and Waddle, because I mean, the Seahawks, even in past years, even when we were supposed to win games, we still, or obviously we may even lose most of those games, we'll make the other team's quarterback, even if it wasn't their starter, look great. You know what I mean?
But who was it that we gave up 500
Andy
yards?
Dalton. Andy Dalton was one. We made him look good when
No,
he
we made
was
Joe Flacco look elite too, I think, in one game. Or no, it was
it wasn't Zach Wilson. It was somebody. I know.
no, this was like 2 or 3 years ago. I think it was Matt Schaub I think for the Falcon when he played for the Falcons. I think he put up over 500 yards of passing against us. I think we still won that game, but 500
Yeah, we made
yards.
the fact that we're not making anyone look good. Like I said, I don't miss our previous defense for like the past 3 or so years, 3 to 5 years. I'll even say go that far, because our defense has been like, sometimes we'll be like a stout defense to an extent, but like not how we're playing currently. And I hope that we can continue this even into the next games going forward. Because if we can, we're getting to our tougher part of the schedule. Just got to say that only once, just because I know some people are going to say, yeah, they were light teams. I'm like, yeah, but at the end of the day, though, we won those games that we needed to win then. Especially if Tua's not starting for the Dolphins, we need to win that game. Take all the wins you can get. You never know when these wins will help you out down the road.
Yeah, just like you can upset and be upset. So you have to take care of business, and that's what this week was. I mean, they didn't have Raheem Mostert, they didn't have Tua. The offense was after a certain point they were on their third string quarterback with Tim Boyle in. I think Tim Boyle came in and he might have even looked more comfortable passing the ball than Skylar Thompson, and he came in off the practice squad. You got to take your wins when you can get them. That's all it comes down to. There's only 17 games in the season.
Yeah, I'll take it. I'll take it wherever we can get it. Held the Dolphins from doing much on third or fourth downs. And the missed tackles. The missed tackles have been decreasing. I think you got this one up and showing.
Yeah.
Look at that. Four missed tackles.
And that's huge.
Hey, that is huge.
That's discipline.
Granted, you know how sometimes you'll see the missed tackle like, oh, that's the one missed tackle we should have had. But hey, it's better than week 1 with 11.
Yeah.
I still like to see the hit every time with Derek Hall.
Yeah, dude, I love the fact Derek Hall had 2, Boye had 1. Like, those are second year. Is Boye a second or third? He's a second year.
I think he's a third year, if not second. If either way, I know like Derek Hall's second year. I think Boye Mafe is okay. Yeah, second year too.
Okay.
If not, no. Did they come in the same year? I think it might be third year.
Okay, I don't. I can believe it. I think it went Darrell Taylor 1 year, and then Boye 1 year, and then I think Derek Hall afterwards.
Yeah, he was drafted. I think it was that year. Yeah. So, yeah, he came in. He's a second. Yeah, this is his second year because he was drafted. He was in the 2022 draft, second round actually.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
you can't doubt it. We've been spending capital on that defensive line. We just kind of needed the right guy to come in and say, "This, all right, this is how you guys play together."
Oh yeah, for sure. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, and I was just gonna say, and plus the fact that the turnover in this defensive unit is absolutely insane. Like, who were the linebackers last year compared to I mean, they were like, with I mean, sorry, we know who Bobby Wagner put some respect on the name, Jordan Brooks, and all those.
Jordan Brooks was starting here. It was a revenge game for him, and he didn't really do much for the Dolphins in this case, right? So,
yeah, and I mean, like this, you move on from Quandre Diggs, another leader on that defense, and Julian Love has just stepped right in. I mean, he was there last year. He wasn't utilized as much, but you have guys like Julian Love, Leonard Williams, Devon Witherspoon. Like, you have you have some dogs on the defense, and everybody's just rallying
We
around.
don't
It's
have
just
everyone starting. We didn't have everyone. We didn't have Nwosu, and I think one more person was out too. Well, also Nwosu was just
yeah,
out
dude,
because of
Uchenna
his
coming
knee
back.
injury.
Uchenna coming back would be huge, man.
Oh yeah, I think the earliest he can come back is probably after this next game with the Lions, but that's the earliest, right?
Is he
So
on
it's
IR?
still, yeah, he's on IR. I think last
Okay,
time
yeah,
I
4 weeks.
checked.
I think
So
is it right then?
yeah, so after the Lions, we can see where he is, and it'll probably be a week to week thing. And just going back to it, Derek Hall is second year. This is second year, and then Boy Maffe's third year.
Cool, cool.
Either way, love to see the improvement for both of those, especially with Nwosu out. We need someone to step in, and hey, Derek Hall's been doing whatever he needs to be doing because he didn't have a good rookie year.
No, it was very much a one that you can sweep under the rug. Not much happened. And plus, we got some young guys coming in through too that we drafted this year. I think there's
Mm-hmm.
a rotation for snaps as well. We're in a situation now where we've invested so much in that capital in that position where we can start rotating players in. And you ideally you would have a mix of veterans and young guys. I mean, with Uchenna
Mm-hmm.
being hurt, we're just fielding young guys. But it's an exciting unit to watch, to say the least. Along with that defensive line, that entire front four, if you want to call it that. That's not exactly what we play, but the front three, I guess, with the outside
Mm-hmm. Your
linebackers.
front three would be like your DTs, D ends, if they actually have D ends, and then of course your edge will be on obviously on the edge. They're linebackers.
Yeah, and
Good
yeah,
stuff though. I love our 3-4 coming together.
I love it when a plan comes together.
Okay.
You got anything else for this game?
I don't. I actually I just love that we're 3-0. Hopefully we can fix up all these mistakes and we can move forward.
Yeah,
Win some more games.
you got to win them as they come. All right, well, catch us on the preview. We'll be talking about the Lions matchup next. But
Mm-hmm.
thanks for joining us here on Misrepped. Be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you again.
Peace.